And welcome to Just to Serve TV. So, Harvey Adelson, we didn't get a chance to look into his performance the other day. We're going to do that. And Donna Adelson, she has a new address.
Love you, Linda. Love you.
The courthouse the other day in the hallway, you're singing "Oh Happy Day."
One word prayer. Justice, where are you?
Hey, Linda Kenny Baden, what's happening?
Hey, Michael Bryant, how are you? We have some unfinished business from last night. I just
we do.
wanted to,
Okay, finish
I
away.
just want to add this to this age. This was a thank you to Ocean Beach. It came in at 7:01 after we closed the show. Probably she put it in earlier, a $4.99 donation, and she wanted to know about the Commission on Judicial Conduct on the Massachusetts website. Wouldn't it help if we flooded it with complaints? We can't tell you to do that, but that's certainly one observation that you can make a complaint if you feel that there is a violation of judicial ethics code. So, but we thank you for that, Ocean Beach, and we appreciate your concern for this is on the Kelsey Fitzpatrick case.
Yep. Okay. So I think we're doing this now. All right. Let's do this and let's do this. Okay. You want to rip and read something, or you want me to?
My rip and read is actually also something that we did a story on last night, and we did have a shall we say a response. This is on the Dr. Maurizio Miglietta, who has been charged in New York. He's from New Jersey, apparently, but he's been charged in New York with first-degree rape and attempted rape in New York City. Remember, he is innocent until proven guilty by a jury of his peers beyond a reasonable doubt. But we did write, as part of Justice Serve TV, to the location of where he is practicing, shall we say, as a professor. Here it was Touro University Touro College of Osteopathic Medicine. And then we did get a response back from Ellie Schlamm, the executive director, apologizing for the delay. As we said, we didn't get a response from them yesterday because they had a holiday. We were offline due to the Jewish holiday. Here's our statement. Clinical professor of surgery Maurizio Miglietta has been placed on administrative leave at Touro College of Osteopathic Medicine pending an internal investigation. So that's a rip and read continuation of a story.
And we'll see what happens, when that investigation comes to some conclusion. He may or may not have a job. Depends on how much of those allegations happen to be true. One more quick thing before we move on to the Adelson clan.
Actually, I have one more, but
you have another one? Go ahead.
I have one more, and this is because we're going to be doing an actual. Let's see. I have to remove something from the stage. Apparently, there we go. Look at that, technologically wizard here. All right, this is a big case in New York. It's the Teresa Fusco murder. 40 years ago, 3 teens were charged, and they were exonerated in 1996 after being in jail for 18 years for her murder. Well, DNA, as you can see, on a smoothie straw for, let's see, Tropical Cafe, came back to be 100% match on genetic genealogy from the articles I read. We actually are going to have Marty Tanklet, who is exonerated himself, who's very familiar with this case. I recall Michael and I worked on this case a little bit with Barry Scheck, who handled the federal civil rights cases for at least two, if I recall, of those who were wrongfully accused and convicted and served jail time. But we're going to do a whole show on this next week, Michael.
Okay, look at that. That is a tiny smoothie, and it did not pay off for them. 100% match. I think it's pretty good. That's my layman's opinion on that. Okay, so let me do this before we do this.
As the Adelsons turn on one another.
Okay, we're gonna look at. I'm running out of options to use that, and until of course somebody else might be indicted and tried. So Donna Adelson, if you have wondered what's going on, because the way the system works is she is sentenced on Monday, and then she's in with the Florida Department of Corrections. And remember, there were requests, not to be where Catherine Benoit might be, and to stay somewhere in Florida if possible. We know that's not always true. Where's Charlie? South Dakota.
I don't think she's going to South Dakota.
I don't think she's going up there either. But this will be very interesting to see how cooperative the DOC is with her, because they don't have any obligation, right?
Right.
They can do whatever in the hell they want. So anyway, she is now in their system, and here's what her new mugshot looks like. There's Donna, and you can see right now she is at the Florida Women's Reception Center, which looks kind of like this, at least from the outside. Looks like that. There it is.
There it is. Wow.
It's behind a big sign somewhere. And there's phone numbers and the chaplain. And if you want to get a hold of Warden Nan Jeffcoat, there's the way you can do that. So anyway, there's her new mugshot. See if we can get a little tighter on that.
She has that same, oh, help me, I'm just a poor grandmother, wrongfully convicted look that she had when she was like, I don't know if I should testify. I can't make a decision right now.
It sure looks better than her, or I should say, more representative than her first mugshot, which I don't have handy. But when she was arrested on the jetway heading to Vietnam, she was a little more spiffy then. So anyway, and she is, as you can see, custody pending, because it can take days, it can take weeks, it could take as long as they need to get her in the system properly. And she's in this center where they basically evaluate you, in part to figure out where you might best fit in the system. So we shall see where she ultimately ends up. That is the latest on her. So now, what about Monday? Seems like just yesterday. But Monday, there was so much going on.
Monday, yeah, a lot going on. But wait a second, you got one more rip and read.
Oh, I do. I'm sorry, I forgot about Farwell.
Yeah. Oh, how could you figure out Sandra Birchmore?
Got him out of order. Sandra Birchmore's alleged killer, Matthew Farwell. We've been watching his hearing date pushed, speculating maybe there was something going on in the works to work a deal with him. But now there's a trial date. So clear your calendars, save the date, October 5th next year. October 5th, almost exactly a year from now.
Wow.
And they will have to decide between now and the next 90-some days whether or not to go for the death penalty in the case. My guess is they will not. Just my guess. It's Massachusetts. They have no state death penalty. They do have the federal death penalty, which is not all that often applied or requested. My guess is they are not. Just my guess.
What's been going on then for the last? Is he doing a deal? Is he cooperating? And this is just more of that time.
Well, what do you think about a trial date 1 year out? Not based on when the
1 year
crime
out
took place or the arrest.
2 years out.
1 year out.
It's actually 2 years out from last year. Last year was his first appearance. So I think that's a long time in the federal system.
That's what I would think. Yeah, that's what I would think. So maybe they tried and he wouldn't give them whatever they needed, and so they just finally said, okay, let's put a little heat on and set this thing for trial. So
So apparently they have to go to the Capitol Review Committee, and then it has to be approved by Pam Bondi, the Attorney General himself. Those things seem to happen very fast when it came to Charlie Kirk's assassin, and when it came to our United Healthcare assassin here in New York.
Yeah. So
we'll
it's
see.
I blame Massachusetts just in general. Just a simple explanation. Why? It's Massachusetts. Okay. And by the way, as I ping pong back and forth, Donna Adelson, or as I now call her, W72841.
Oh,
that's her new number. So if you're going to send her any bonbons or anything. Okay. So let's go back now to Monday, because there was so much going on. She spoke and then got yelled at, and but she wasn't the only one to speak and or get yelled at, because Harvey had a moment, and I'm gonna let roll. First thing I want to do is I'm really backing into this sideways. You remember at the end of the day, they hauled her off.
Should make me cry.
Yeah,
just kidding. Kidding. Just a joke.
Yeah, and then Harvey was like the last one, kind of hanging out in the courtroom, and I just want to look at this. Then we'll go backwards and take a look at and listen to his thoughts. But watch this. This is her obviously being helped out as Attorney Zellman. Mr. Zellman comforting her, I guess, is one way to put that. Remember now, one thing they have to do, and this guy, see the yellow card in the bailiff's hands there?
Right.
I believe that's the fingerprint card. I'm not sure, but you'll see. Well, maybe not. They they will fingerprint her. You would think, well, isn't that weird? Wouldn't they do that? Like when she was first, they did just do it. That's what the yellow card was. And she was there at the that little spray bottle was to wipe her hands off. She had a mess on her hands from the fingerprint.
I guess they want to make sure that she's her when she's going.
Yeah, and now they're going into the DOC.
Right.
So, you know. So here we go. Here's everybody kind of leaving. Look who that is right there. That was one of my buddies. He came in for the sentencing. That's interesting. Let me back that up just a second there.
Yeah, that went by very quickly.
That's FBI guy. Let's see if I can get to it there. There we go. FBI guy. Why can I never remember his name? We're such good friends. There he is right there. You remember his testimony?
Oh, yes. I mean, this is his case, not Sheridan.
This is his thing,
not
man.
Sheridan.
So,
oh, my goodness gracious. I have drawn a blank all of a sudden. This is his case. Right.
Yeah. And he was there on the jetway when she was arrested. He orchestrated the bump. All of this was his. And so he was there even at the day of sentencing. So he was invested in this thing. Then you have right there leaving with the walker. That was Mr. Chagrin, the friend of the family. And now we have Harvey. Now, he's talking to Zellman, right?
Right. Talking to Zellman.
Unfortunately, there is no audio. That's not my technical issue. There is no audio. And so you could read into this whatever you might want to read into it. So he's talking to Zellman. Maybe it's, mechanics about where's she going, what happens next, blah, blah, blah. And she is not eligible for visitors now, by the way. That's part of the process in this, where she is now, where they evaluate her, no visitors. And then, of course, there's Jackie Fulford. And then it looks like he's trying to give her a hug.
He's trying to give the paralegal a hug.
Yeah, the paralegal, the one who's really been by Donna Adelson's side the whole time.
Right.
And then he's explaining to the bailiff, I thought, look, I just want to give her a hug. And they're like shuffling him out the door. Get the hell out of here.
She doesn't know where she wanted to hug him back. This is like,
So anyway, I thought that was interesting.
He didn't talk to. I didn't see him talk to Fulford. I just talked to Zellman.
I know. And then then they went out to the hallway.
Now we have sound.
They were making the death march to the elevator. They never went down in the elevator. Those stairs. No. Too smart. That door back there goes like to the area behind the courtrooms.
The one they were seeing the officer at?
Yeah, so the way they leave if they're not going out the front door is out this side door.
Okay. Yeah, because this is the Zellman carrying the bags on a carrier.
Not right now. We're going to issue a press release. Okay. Yes.
Did he issue a press release? You know?
I never saw it. Maybe, but I never saw it.
No, we will be issuing a press release. We'll try and get that out in the next 24 hours.
Can you not tell us
There's a
anything
smile
about
on his face. Maybe he's happy things are done. I don't know.
Unfortunately,
I
it
can't
was
imagine.
not unexpected.
Thank you.
I'm going to see. Hold a second. Let's see what he's
Your
doing.
thoughts on what just transpired?
Unfortunately, it was not unexpected.
So, any thoughts on what transpired? Unfortunately, it was not unexpected.
Yeah.
In other words, that's a double negative. So it was expected. Okay. And scene. So that was about it. Just a little behind the scenes of what was or was not happening.
And where did Harvey go out? Do we know?
I don't know. Let's see if I will zoom ahead here. Just me looking to see if he pops out and does anything. A lot of empty doors, a lot of waiting, and then it looks like they finally shut off the feed. Let's see. Hold on. Yeah, some stragglers coming out. Yeah, and then they cut off the feed. Okay, so let me back up to what we were here for in the first place, which of course is Harvey, and what is a very contentious. He's just mad. You call Donna mad. I know you talked about how Mad Donna appeared when she was giving her statement.
Yeah,
Oh my!
that kind of had triple entendre. There was, excuse me, it was Mad Donna, and it was Mad Donna, and then it was Donna. Excuse me. I'm going to go beyond my Tubi avatar. For a
Okay,
second.
yeah, get something cleaned up there. So I'm just zooming through to get back where we need to be for Harvey. I seem to keep missing Harvey. Where are you, buddy? Yeah, if I were prepared, I would have had this already queued up. But I want to look at the end of that because I just thought it was fascinating with his attempt. It looked like to me to hug.
Well, thank you for doing that little
paralegal.
brief respite while I was having I'm
Yes.
having a coffee fit. Obviously swallowed my mango tea a little wrong.
Down the wrong pipe.
On the wrong one pipe or the other pipe. I don't know.
Okay, here we go. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Punching in another couple of buttons, and then we got this. Okay.
Does the state have any objections?
No, Your Honor.
They will be composite defense 1 for sentencing.
Thank you, Judge.
Dr. Adelson, please raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes, I do.
You can lower your hand. You may speak.
Thank you, Judge, and respected officers of the court for allowing me to speak.
He's belting it out. You notice that he like switched into this performance.
Yeah,
mode.
we thought that he was like a frail
Yeah.
old person.
Well, he shuffles
then-
around, and when I spoke to him a few
No.
times, it was all very understated, but now it's fully
Yeah.
throated.
I have been Donna Adelson's husband for over 50 years. My wife sacrificed everything so that she could pour her heart and soul into our children, our grandchildren, and our marriage. This summer was our 54th wedding anniversary, and I had to spend it without her, hand in mind. She has done nothing wrong, and yet is being punished for a crime that she did not commit. I thought we lived in a different kind of world, but I guess I was wrong. I have listened, watched, and sat in the courtroom for the entire trial, and I could not help but scream in my mind by the witnesses that were brought forward by the prosecution who told outright lies. I didn't know that you could lie in a courtroom, but apparently you can. Danny's parents contend that they have never seen their grandchild. But for years they say they've never seen her. But Wendy has shared with me pictures and videos and letters from their visits. They have suffered immensely at the loss of their son, but they also contend to tell lies to the court about our grandchildren. Donna has always been a loving and caring wife and is innocent of the charges. A biased judge and jury were influenced by years of one-sided news pieces and
Before you
social
continue,
media.
Doctor, Ms. Fulford, this has nothing to do with the character of the defendant or relates to sentencing.
May I just one moment, please?
Go ahead.
This is the judge again complaining that this is supposed to be a character statement on behalf of his wife, who is the defendant. And can I ask you something, Michael? You
Not
maybe have the
retrying
answer.
the case, which is what he,
Yeah, I realize that, but you know what? So what?
Yeah, I think. I mean, I appreciate Judge Stephen Everett. I think he did a great job in this case and in the Charlie case. But at this point, does it really matter? Especially when there's no jury involved. It's just the judge. Let him, vent. It's not going to affect anything you have to do, Judge. I don't understand, but that's his courtroom. He can do what he wants to do.
Right.
And now, you have Jackie Fulford reaching in there for what appears to be the first time that she's ever heard this, and now she's editing on the fly, right?
Right. Because she doesn't represent him, so
No,
she doesn't have a right to see technically what he's going to say.
no, I think she probably could ask, and he could say yes or no. But I have a feeling she never even inquired. It's not technically her job, but now it puts her in this position where the judge is basically going to tell him to stop if she doesn't at least try to massage this through. But as we saw this unfold, I'm like, this is going to be shorter than he expected, I think. She's in there with the red pen and carving out some spots.
Donna, stop crying. Mad Donna, Mad Donna, Donna Adelson, stop crying. And you know what? I'm sure even if you're guilty, it's hard to see your husband of 54 years. I mean, there is honor and love among criminals.
You would think, unless she's just the most cold-hearted, and many would say she is, cold-hearted person out there that doesn't care what wreckage she's left in her wake.
Just 1 second.
I think it's just the delusion of wealth and getting everything you've ever wanted in your life. You just start to think everything's going to fall your way. Okay, take two. Harvey. No, they look. Actually, now she's brought in Zellman to go over it as well. And under their breath, they're saying, "Oh shit! Look at all this. Look at all this
He's
stuff."
like a fool. Yeah, and in a way, see, she has to worry that it affects the sentencing of her client. Although on the life sentence is not much.
Yeah.
That's already been given. Not much.
I mean, talk about having foolproof lack of malpractice. Once the sentence is set, it's not like there's anything you can do to reduce the sentence. It is what it is. Now you may have some issues in the fact that the conviction came
Thank you
through.
for letting me continue.
Okay, here we go.
Donna
Take two.
did not participate in the heinous acts that she was convicted of doing. You are sending an innocent woman to prison. You have taken my wife and you have taken my life as well. And for what? This is not justice. It is vengeance, and it is wrong.
You have an examination for Dr. Adelson.
Did you notice it was shorter? It was kind of done. Oh, he must have just jumped to the last two sentences, right?
That's what it looked like. And of course, we had the picture of the well of the court, behind the well, and here, and I hate that. I hate that. But no one's reacting. I just think that we do enough on shows to be like, the Coliseum, that we don't need the well of the courtroom to be the behind the well of the courtroom to be the Coliseum.
Yeah, the gallery. I don't have any problem with that. There, and that's Patrick Sanford. That's
his name, right? Yes,
there's.
All of a sudden, I don't know why I had a mental block.
Ian Corbett, who was the local cop, who has just retired, and I've been reaching out to see if we can get him.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
very nice. When I bumped into him, talked to him a few times at the courthouse. So I'm hoping, because just his involvement in the case was so critical on that local level, working with Mr. Sanford, Special Agent Sanford, who also is on the verge of retirement, by the way. So these guys, they're kind of seeing some of their biggest cases, some of their longest cases through to conclusion. I mean, this is, a case that you began roughly 10 or 11 years ago.
I can't even think back 10 or 11 years ago. What was I doing?
No. So anyway, that was Harvey. We just want to get back into that a little bit to the degree that we could. I would love to see and hear what he did not get to say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
so would I.
Once he got to, I think the judge, we're suggesting, hey, judge, maybe you should have just cut him some slack. I think if he had not been critical of the judge.
Mrs. Judge, but Mrs. Adelson has decided she would like to make an unsworn statement to the court.
Oh, this was pre-Donna Adelson. It was like unsworn, and he had to take a break here and say, wait a minute.
Witnesses will be sworn this afternoon if she wishes to speak.
Judge, case law indicates, confirms that the defendant has the right to make an unsworn statement prior to sentencing. The court, Rule 3.720B states the court shall entertain submissions and evidence by the parties that are relevant to the sentence. A number of cases, Your Honor, that have interpreted this, especially in a capital case, as the defendant having a right to make an unsworn statement. This is a capital.
Please give the citation.
I really appreciated this, and I'll be brutally honest at my own take on this. If I were in his position, I don't know that I would have, and I'll be honest, I don't know if I would have anticipated the judge objecting to an unsworn statement.
Not of the defendant. It's very clear. A defendant has a right to allocute at any time before sentencing without being sworn, and because that would violate, Fifth Amendment issues and all sorts of stuff. Because she didn't testify, but she has a right to allocute, and so you can't then say something or put her on trial for what she's saying on her right to allocute. which violates the Fifth Amendment, her Fifth Amendment right. So that it's a whole different ball game here, and I'm surprised the judge did not know that. Maybe most people don't allocute for him.
And that could be. And my point is that I don't think I would have been prepared for that, to be honest. I would have taken it as a given, and I would not have had, here's a couple of cases, Judge, that say maybe Mr. Zellman's come up against this before, either in this court or others, and so he had it ready to roll. Here are the citations, Judge. But I was surprised that the judge made an issue of it, surprised that the attorney had the cites to correct the judge, which he did. And the judge went, proceed then. He never really tells you that he's been corrected and he's fixing that. It's just matter of fact, proceed then.
Yeah. Now, let's make a comparison to Harvey, since we're talking about Harvey. Harvey, everyone has to remember, he's an unindicted co-conspirator here, right?
Sure.
And yet he had to give his statement under oath. Now, his statement didn't really say anything. It said everybody's innocent, and he's taking my wife away from me. We're innocent.
Right. And the judge is biased, and the jury was biased.
And the jury is biased. But he's an unindicted co-conspirator. We can't forget that. I'd love to have Harvey on. I open invitation to have him on to see what else he wanted to say in front of in front of the cameras, in front of the judge, to the judge.
Well, I have a feeling he's going to be cooling his heels for a while till the shoe drops, or doesn't, to him or Wendy. I mean, nobody knows for sure. Everybody thinks Wendy's going to be next. Nobody knows for sure. I think it'll be very disappointing if she is not, based on everything we've seen as the cases have progressed, from Sigfredo Garcia all the way through Charlie. Those 4 trials have continued, and then Donna, to support at least what we see as some implication that Wendy's involved. Now they've got to have more than what we've seen, but if what we've seen
is not found reasonably out.
No, but if what we've seen is smoke, then they may have the fire.
And we wonder, Michael, I ask you this, you see that we had to tickle the wires and all afterwards. Do you think the state will just lay low and then try to tickle the wires again, or wait until the children are over 18?
I don't know. And, as I recall, I got to double check my math. One of them is almost, I think he's 16 maybe.
One's 16, yeah.
I think 15 and 16. So it's not a huge wait. And obviously there's no statute in terms of the murder. I don't know. I don't know. I don't, because, I mean, what's the downside? Oh yeah, that's right. She's the remaining custodial parent, right? But as the kids get older, it's less an issue. And I don't think they'd go to Harvey. I don't think he wants the kids hanging out in the penthouse. So I don't know. I actually hope it's not a factor. If they're going to do it, I think they should do it. Why give, if somebody they believe is culpable, why give them even 2 more years of freedom? Go after them. If you got the goods, go after them.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. So anyway, we know what happens after this with Donna. We have done that. Did you want to see more Donna, or have you seen enough? Is there some,
no, I've
on reflection,
seen,
have you heard anything? Have you seen anything you want to read?
Well, I like the look on her right there, because that look is more like the look with her picture now with the DOC. The oh poor me, the grandmother look, as opposed to the
well, yeah, you're about to see the angry Donna.
Okay.
Was a fine and decent man.
Yeah, whoops, if you want to hear that.
He was well educated and passionate about his career. He was a good son-in-law, but more importantly, he was a caring and loving father.
Yeah, you really felt that way when you wanted to make fun of his faith and put his kids in Nazi uniforms and send his kids to Catholic school just to like ram it up his tushy, right?
Yeah, get him and get him baptized.
And get him baptized, right? Forgot about that little fact.
Yeah.
He didn't know.
And we know she called him many names over time. But I don't think smart
and the last time they would see him
was one of them.
I don't think smart, wonderful, or loving son-in-law was in any of those gibbers emails we saw.
Gibbers, yeah. The gibbers controversy.
He drove home that his life would end within minutes. Danny wasn't just being followed, he was being hunted. He was brutally murdered in broad daylight, sitting in his car.
I mean, this is the opposite of remorse, because she's basically saying these thugs killed him. I had nothing to do with it. Don't hold that against me. It's just so arrogant.
I cannot conceive of his heroic efforts to stay alive during the hours after the attack. Danny died in the early morning hours of July 19th. His death is a loss to his children, his parents, his
tissue, please.
All of us in his family, his friends, his colleagues in the legal community, and to his students at FSU Law School. Danny's boys each have a photo of themselves with their Abba, their dad, beside their beds. They grew up kissing the framed photo and saying, "Good night, Abba, I love you." The pictures and memories are all they have because cruel, cold-hearted people took him from all of us who loved him. My heart was broken when Danny died. My grandsons were going to grow up without the father who loved them. I wondered, how could we help these boys through this trauma? It was then that my husband and I knew that the best way to honor Danny's memory would be to share with these children an abundance of love, the love that Danny would have given them if he were alive. It is interesting how the state can't make up its mind about who is what they call the, quote, mastermind behind this murder. In both of Catherine McBanowa's trials, the state claimed she was the mastermind behind Danny's murder. In my son Charlie Adelson's trial, they claimed he was the mastermind. And now in my trial, they claimed that I, this grandma, was the mastermind behind the murder.
This grandma.
This is grandma. The first time I noticed that. This grandma.
This grandma.
You know what this reminds me? This reminds me of how she can write, and she was clearly the one who wrote the script for the undercover agent, right? And we heard her tough on the phone with him, knowing that he's figuring out that he was an FBI agent, that he was law enforcement. What you have here, and you see that, remember, she wrote the script for the inmates, right? You see more of this here. She really is a script writer, isn't she?
She may have, when she's in prison, she may have a future there.
Other people plan to cut Danny's life short. And the people who did this are exactly where they deserve to be.
And I'll be right there with
you. But I
you.
had no knowledge that this horrible, evil act was going to take place. If I had become aware of this plan before Danny was murdered, I would have stopped it. With not one iota of actual evidence, the state convinced a Tallahassee jury that I solicited and conspired with other people to have Danny killed. Where is the evidence prior to the murder? The evidence beyond a reasonable doubt that the state needed to prove their case. Where is the evidence before July 18th, 2014 at 10:50 in the morning?
Before you continue, Mrs. Adelson, as it relates to this statement, is the defense trying to re-argue the trial?
No, Judge, just giving Adelson an opportunity to be heard.
Mrs. Adelson, you certainly can continue. However, the court can take into consideration the utter lack of remorse that you are displaying.
Utter
Please
lack
proceed
of
if you
remorse.
desire to do so.
Well, I mean,
not just lack of remorse, the utter lack.
Yeah,
Not utter.
yeah. As I said earlier, it's not like she's just angry and suggesting the other folks who did it, they're already in jail. They're gone. So what about poor little me? I'm just a grandma. Again, it doesn't matter what the judge hears. He really has zero discretion sentencing her to life without parole. That's it. You're done. So I don't know. To me, I would have let her just rail. You know, it's not going to affect anything. It's annoying. She's annoying, but it's all part of the Donna Adelson package. So now she's self-editing here.
Where is the evidence before July 18th, 2014 at 10:50 a.m. that revealed that I had any involvement?
It's almost to me, though, like she's admitting, yeah, you got a lot of evidence about after the fact. Got a lot of that.
Yeah, you know, and that, of course, I would help my son cover up. You know, of course,
Yes,
but I
who
didn't
could
help
blame
plan.
me
That's
for
what it
that?
sounds right. I'm just I'm just a grandma.
I'm a good grandma and a good mom, and if my son's in trouble, I'm going to help by covering
That's
up.
what it sounds like, right?
That's what it sounds like. But it's too late for that argument. They could have. I think maybe it was a mistake. Of course, after the fact, it's easy to say that. They could have argued at trial that anything she did was clearly after the fact, right? And there's no charges
Right.
for accessory after the fact.
Right. I always thought that was an interesting thing. I don't know enough about the Florida law, but yeah, I mean, it's is accessory after the fact, like in New Jersey, if you're an accessory after the fact, you are an accessory. Period. Doesn't matter whether it's
You're in the
after or before.
conspiracy.
Right.
Gotcha.
If some states, as you know, if you are after the fact, it's less of a crime, less of a penalty.
Well, let's assume it's consistent with the conspiracy, right? Well, at
Right.
least then she can pretend she's going to get out of prison at some point, because then the sentence in this case was 30 years, right? We know that unless she has the best constitution ever, and I mean physical body constitution,
Right.
she's not going to make it. But at least she would have that carrot hanging out there, because the conviction would be just for conspiracy, 30 years.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know if they just made a strategic issue about it and said, look, this is all or nothing. Either they think you were in, or they will think you were not in. And I think that might have been a strategic mistake, because even as she acknowledges now, all this stuff, all this evidence is about what happened afterwards. And, she's kind of throwing if the jury were to hear this, it'd be like saying, look, maybe I shouldn't have done that, but I had nothing to do with his death.
You are so right. And as you're saying this, I'm thinking to myself, boy, my streaming partner is so smart. That you are so smart. And then so I'm going to ask you a hard question. The hard question is, you always say that the most important thing is likability, right?
Don't underestimate it. Maybe not the most important, but don't underestimate
Don't underestimate it. Let's for the moment put away her likability. I know that's hard to compartmentalize it over there. If she had gone on and said, look, my daughter was in a terrible divorce. I was helping her with all this stuff. Yeah, just like everyone gets angry, when your kids are upset and all. And I was angry, so I'm helping her. I may have said stuff, but I never, just like this would be a movie to say I then became a murderer at the age of 70 some years old. Could she have sold that?
Yeah. I don't know. We'll never know. I think there was so much evidence of her being something other than likable, other than the grandma that helped her family. There's just, that's what the jury latched on, of course, was her vehemence and her hatred of Dan Markel and her desire to get those kids down to South Florida. I almost feel like the help for Wendy was secondhand. It was like, yeah, Wendy's helped by this, but it's all about Donna.
Donna wants the kids. Donna
yeah,
wants the kids,
and Wendy's going to come along with them, and she benefits from it, but it's my deal.
And that's why she's so angry at Wendy now, it appears to me, because Wendy just didn't talk to her. She feels she's did all these things for Wendy, compartmentalizing Wendy's culpability over here for the moment, and then Donna's pissed off.
Yeah, and so what a screwed up family. Holy cow. Oh. So do you think, I know people have suggested that the grand jury is meeting again, and now that sentencing has been completed, which means the conviction is now in the books, and all the clock is ticking for appeal, which we will see filed in the next 20 some days, whatever's left in that 30-day period. Do you think that Wendy's arrest is imminent, or just likely down the road? We should do a poll. Is her arrest imminent? Is it likely at some point, or is it not going to happen?
I think we should do a poll on this.
I'll put that out there.
The one thing that worries me is the fact that everyone's retiring, that the second chair, state's attorney, as they call it.
Sarah, right? Sarah, gosh, I'm horrible with names. Kappelman Jr. Yes.
is a finalist to become a judge, from what I've read. And she's been the ride along with all of these cases. They know these cases better than you or I or anyone,
God.
right?
Yeah.
Maybe even better than all the police put together, because they have to weave every single fact in for a jury into a story that is tellable and sellable
Sure.
to the jury.
Sure. Sarah Dugan. Yeah, so she's going to be the Honorable Sarah Dugan soon. I'm going to plant this seed right now, and it won't be a popular one, and I'm not going to flesh out the details. But I have some concerns about Ms. Kappelman, and let's just say her. I will ask this question: has anybody seen her interviewed anywhere? Anybody? Let me know if you have. Put it in our comments. Put it in. Send us an email, because I'm looking into a situation which suggests there may be a real reason for her not having done any interviews, and I'm not sure it's appropriate. And as much as I love her work, what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong, and I think there may be a reason she hasn't been doing interviews, and we'll get into that at some point. That's all I'm going to say at the moment.
I would like to interview her.
I would too, but I'm not going to suck up if I feel like there's something inappropriate. I'm going to throw it out there. So anyway, are we done with Donna? Have you seen enough, Donna?
You know what? I probably have seen enough of Donna, but by the same token, I can't get enough of her. I don't know what it is. You're right. I've seen enough of her. I've heard enough of her, yet I can't get enough of her. It's the train wreck that keeps on coming and coming and coming. And unfortunately, the only victim in this case is her former son-in-law and these two children, as far as I'm concerned. Victims, I should say.
With that build-up, let's just a little bit more.
In this vile and horrific act. Where is the solicitation and conspiracy evidence? The state needed to show that there was evidence before the murder to convict me. The state couldn't show that because there wasn't any evidence. They were trying an innocent person. It makes you wonder if the jurors were sleeping when the state had Sergeant Corbett on the stand for hours. Their own star witness testified that my phone was never, I repeat, never at my son's house on the night of the murder. The state's theory that my husband and I dropped off money to my son was blown out of the water by their own witness.
I missed that part.
Okay, let's
I'm
talk
sorry.
about that.
I'm
Let's talk
sorry,
about that.
I missed this part. Okay.
So that was his testimony, as I recall. But is that the end all be all?
No, because it was a question about the phone as opposed to the apps, right?
Yes.
And that was, and the one thing you learn trying cases, it's not just where the phone shows up on the towers and all. It's where the apps show up, where the apps are opened up, where the apps are closed, where the apps are running and they're running in the background. And you always have to be careful about that. If you've ever looked at these charts, and they've gotten better and better in the last 5 years.
And that's something we should get into, not necessarily for this case, but another case that involves Cellbrite material with Michael Easter. We should get him back on, Special Agent Michael Easter, retired Special Agent Michael Easter. We haven't had him on in a while. We should bring him back on to chat about that. Have you seen that Cellbrite video from Cellbrite themselves?
Yes,
10
I've
minutes
seen
of,
that.
looks like a school project. It's just really not very impressive technologically. It's like, this is a technological company, and they've got this.
Yeah, they're like a $400 million worth company. You
And
know,
they have
we
Welcher.
could only hope to be a $400 million media.
Well, I'll tell you right now, this thing we're doing looks 100 times better than that little thing they put out there. A little 10-minute. Here's how our software sucks. I'm not sure that was the plan, but that's the subtitle I've given it. So yeah, we should get that. It was like 10, 11 minutes, and it's done in this quasi interview format, with Welcher being the interview subject, because he's the Cellbrite guru, right? So yeah, we should get to that. But in this particular case, it wasn't really the problem. I thought
it was Whiffen who was the. You just said Welcher.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. It wasn't Paint Man.
It's
Whiffen.
Ian Whiffen. I know
Ian
it's so easy to
Wiffle ball.
confuse.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, when we do our Halloween program, which is the week you're actually going to be on jury duty, okay?
That's true.
Okay, the week you're going to be on jury duty. Unless one of us comes with blue paint, I think our viewers will be very disappointed.
That's true.
Blue paint,
So
blue hair.
I'll leave that to you. I kind of like my annual costume that I wear. I think I've worn it on Law and Crime a couple of times. I will probably.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, I'm sure you have, but I won't spoil that. If you haven't,
Don't spoil it for me. No,
yeah.
don't spoil it.
Yeah. But yeah, you the blue paint's all yours. Knock yourself out.
Oh,
Okay.
let me look for my blue eyeshadow.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Yet the state continued to push that story, that lie of the so-called money drop to the jury through the remainder of the trial. And the jury bought into it, hook, line, and sinker. Reasonable doubt. Many months ago, my attorneys filed a motion for a change of venue. An expert witness testified that Tallahassee had been barraged with over 9 years of negative social media, printed news, television news, and podcast publicity about my family. He explained to the court, both with evidence and demonstratives, that for me to receive a fair trial, it needed to be held in any of the researched and designated areas in the state of Florida other than Tallahassee. All I wanted was a level playing field, but the court wanted the trial here in the hotbed of Tallahassee.
Hotbed.
I sat through 3 days of jury selection. 180 potential jurors were asked if they had developed an opinion in my case. Those that answered yes also added, I believe she is guilty. Not one person, not one, said, I think she may be innocent. That should have been a clue to the court to grant our motion for a change of venue. But the court denied the motion.
Okay, so basically you cut and paste that into the appeal. But are you going to ask anybody, are you going to ask a jury pool, do you think the defendant, as she sits here, is innocent? You're going to tell them that. You're not going to ask them if they think that. You're going to say, as you know, this defendant sits here cloaked in innocence and until proven guilty in this process. So I understand her slanted look at that. I get it. And I do believe
she's reading the appellate brief, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a key.
Drafted and given to her.
No doubt. It'll be a loser, but I understand it and I appreciate it. And they made the motion. It was denied, and now they can appeal it. I get it.
And I'm on one of the trial teams that may have had one of the few changes of venue in the modern world. That was the Jason Williams basketball case, and involved 2 counties, Hunterdon and Somerset, up in New Jersey. And it's very hard to get a change of venue case.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, it's very expensive. You have to have polling of the different counties. You have to have all the news articles. You have to have jurors that are saying they can't be fair. And usually it's to get it beforehand, which is what we did before any juror was even impaneled. We got the change of venue, but they're not granted all the time because the remedy is to get the jury up there and say, can you be fair? Anyhow, can you be fair and put aside what you've known? And they say, yeah, generally.
Yeah. And I think, let me contrast that situation with, I guess the Kohlberger case is a good example, where you have a small county, Latah County, who has, like 10 cops and 1 clerk that does everything. In this case, would have overwhelmed them. So that motion for change of venue, which was granted from Latah County to Ada, which is Boise, which is about as big a metropolitan area as you're going to find in Idaho. Those logistics help you if you're looking for a change of venue, right? Then it's not so much about a tainted jury pool or over publicized. It's mechanics. We can't do this here. We don't have the bodies. We don't have the budget. We can't handle it. And so I have a feeling the judge, when that was granted, was looking at that far more than the publicity, because that case, not unlike the case you handled with the basketball star, right? Aaron Hernandez.
Aaron Hernandez is football. Jason Williams was a basketball.
Oh, sorry, got him backwards. Everybody knows. You're not going to go. Those are the cases I call the Mars cases. So unless you live on Mars, you know about it. And so the change of venue is not granted as much because you can clarify that. You can't fix it. But if you're going to kill a county, Latah County would have been swamped, overwhelmed. And, that got the change of venue. So you got to have those kinds of issues, or you're going to have a loser like Donna Adelson. So, of course, it'll happen again if there's another Adelson that is indicted, charged, and ultimately tried. And I think it'll lose again.
You have two unindicted co-conspirators left. We all know that. Those would be, in my opinion, Wendy and her father. Let's just hypothetically, let's assume they were indicted. Do you think they would be tried together?
No, gosh, I would never allow it. If I were representing either of them, I'd be moving for a severance in a heartbeat. Would you want to try them together? To
Oh
do,
no,
make them
not
do
as a
this?
defendant. No,
No, not as a
no,
defendant. No.
not as a.
No.
But maybe as a prosecutor, you almost wouldn't care to have the two.
I
of
don't
them
know.
there.
Look at the Catherine Magloire case when Sigfredo Garcia and she were tried together, the first case, right? He's convicted. She gets the hung jury because they were able to distance herself from him, and the jury hated him so much that they couldn't come to terms with her. Second time she's tried by herself, gone. So, there may be a strategic reason to put them together if you're the defense. I just don't see it. I don't see it the same as Sigfredo Garcia and Catherine Magloire. I see this, then, it's father-daughter. And I think that's a tougher divide to create in the minds of the jurors. So I would definitely, as a defense attorney, not want them tried together. No way.
I love listening to you because you really think about these. What people don't understand is that you've tried a number of cases, you've been in the federal courts and all, and that strategy, as we're talking about this, becomes so important to think not just about the law, not think about just the evidence, but the strategic value of putting people together, not putting people together, of putting evidence together, not putting evidence together. Who do you call on the stand? Who do you don't call on the stand? I think that makes a difference in a trial, Michael.
Check out this. Remember the Ahmaud Arbery case, of course, right? Down there in
Right.
Georgia. I was down there for the tail
Right.
end of that and the verdict.
Mhm.
Remember, there are 3 people tried, right? And the third person tried was the guy who happened to be trailing on the play because his friends called him, and he's on video, which I think everybody thought was going to help him or
Right.
them. And he had the least culpability. There is no doubt in my mind. This guy just came upon it. And had he not done something proactive to help, he was going down, right? Because that was they put the burden on him. He couldn't be like a bystander. You're in it, dude. You better do something to help. And he didn't. And he gets convicted right along with the brother.
You're absolutely right. Right. He got
So,
pulled right in.
I don't know why.
Father and son. Right.
I would never have wanted him tried with those others. I don't remember well enough to know if there was pretrial attempts to sever. Maybe you remember better than I do.
I don't remember. I
but I
assume
definitely would have made that attempt.
I would have made that attempt because you're absolutely right. And then and also
William Roddy Bryan. Sorry, William
that's it,
Roddy
yeah.
Bryan.
And remember, he was the one taking the video because he thought it
Yeah.
was going to exonerate the
Yes.
father and the son. So and
Yeah.
then they release it. No one would even
Yeah.
know they had the video and hadn't released it.
And you would wonder when he's doing that, and this is unfolding, what he really thought was going to happen. Was he just going to document that they, confronted this kid and kept him till cops showed up? I can't imagine he thinks I'm going to be, covering and recording an execution here.
Right.
But that's a perfect example of, how you get blamed, for your association. So
Proving my point again, that doing these decisions, discussing these decisions, evaluating these decisions are so important.
Yep. And we'll see what the next step may be in, bear with me here.
As the Adelsons turn on one another.
Got to take advantage of our high production values as best we can.
Don't forget to vote in our poll.
Yes,
That
I'm gonna
is gonna be a
bang that
participant.
out. So look for that. Will she be eminently? Will Wendy eminently? Maybe I should make one for each of them, Harvey and
What I
Wendy.
should do, right?
Eminent arrest, eventual arrest, no arrest.
Never an arrest, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll be following Mad Donna, Mad Donna, and whatever other Donna goes with the word Adelson for a while longer, it seems to me, Michael Bryant of Justice Served TV.
I agree. So we'll see you next time. Please try to do the right.
Riding flames, they charge with mine.